Hey everyone, today I want to talk about an Eroguro manga I found interesting and easily misjudged. Lately I watched its movies and thought about talking about all of them, cause why not? If you still didn't watch Shoujo Tsubaki or read it, don't worry, there's no spoiler at first, and I will tell you when I start, so keep watching if you want to get an idea. Shoujo Tsubaki is about the girl Midori, who got enslaved by a traveling freak show where all the weird stuff happened, since all the characters in the series are in some way disgusting. First of all, I'm going to talk about the anime movie. Well, this movie's backstory is really interesting. Before watching it, I checked what people were saying about it, and of course, the usual thing with Ergo: don't watch this, don't read this is a warning, etc. Which is, in my opinion, just something that encourages people to watch it or read it. But what was interesting is that this movie was banned all over the world, even Japan. That's so funny, in my opinion, that even the Japanese audiences, well, in the past, apparently hated this movie so much that the public tried to destroy it, leaving only a very small number of surviving copies behind. This also shows how obscure this movie is. Well, okay, this may not be that interesting, but what really is that Harada put his life savings into this project, since no studio was willing to invest into it and ended up directing it, storyboarding it, and fully animating it, and also writing its screenplay. That's really impressive in my opinion, and I totally understand why no one wanted to invest in it. Some scenes you need to expect from this anime movie is the text I will show quickly, if you don't know Eroguro or something, so it's better to just show them. So maybe pause and read, or just skip if you consider that as spoiler. Okay, so the movie is a bit different from the manga. There's some scenes that weren't mentioned at all, but as I noticed, they did cut a lot of parts, of course, talking about the real gory parts from the manga, which may have happened so it becomes legal to watch now. Well, if you like Eroguro, read the manga first. Well, maybe if you like Eroguro already, then you have read this manga before watching this video, but if not, I really recommend it. If you don't want to, watch it, and that's maybe enough, or I would just recommend the live adaptation. Yeah, it has a live adaptation, and I will talk about it later. Did I like the anime? Well, it was okay, but had a lot of negative things. One of them is the bad animation. Well, as I said earlier, Harada Nuri made everything, so can't really blame him. And it's a good job for an old anime with only one person's effort. But a review is a review, after all. Sometimes you just see frames of drawn panels. But his art style is really good. I should say that. It's really close to the manga. The story is similar as I remember, if there's some changes, maybe small ones, like changing some timelines when things happen, but that's it. Unlike the live adaptation, which I will talk about now quickly, so I don't make the video long, and I guess all of you care about the manga. Okay, the live adaptation was okay, if you want to consider it as horror. I like the changes they did and the plot twists. It is enjoyable to watch, but I didn't really feel it is guru or even horror. But okay, some parts were kinda horror. But the most thing you will see is the erotic part, and they go even further than in the manga. Like they show the snake woman more. They sexualize the snake woman more. I mean, in the movie she was really beautiful. In the manga she was a bit disgusting in my opinion, but in the movie she was really beautiful. But seriously, I like how her face does look similar to the one in the manga, unlike Kanabon, who was in my opinion annoying as hell. I really like her in the manga, but not here, and her best moment wasn't that good here. The one that read the manga know what I'm talking about. Okay, the acting wasn't that good as well. It felt a bit weird sometimes, especially some green screen scenes. Well, Kanabon was really annoying. I don't know. He was the worst at acting, I guess. I mean, the character in the manga wasn't like that. I don't know. But hey, I'm happy that they did it after all. Like, make the movie. But yeah, now Midori is kinda considered a masterpiece and a classic in the Eroguro genre. The soundtracks were nice as well as the changes they made. The backstories added were good. Maybe you won't like them the first time you see them, but after finishing the movie, I guess you would. Now that I mentioned soundtracks, I remember that I didn't talk about it in the anime movie. Well, some soundtracks weren't that good, like weren't that impressive that you will remember them after finishing the movie, the anime movie. But what really gave me like goosebumps with the scene, soundtrack and everything was the ending. Really loved that part and how Haruda really did that. Okay, this live adaptation movie is actually watchable on Netflix, but sadly it's only available in Japan. That's how NordVPN comes handy. Use my code ERUGURU for 3 months of use. Okay, I'm joking. There's no way I get sponsored. But if you have it, it's an option for you to watch it on Netflix. If you want me to talk about this movie more, especially the changes made, maybe I can give you my opinion on it in another video, or just we can talk about it in the comments. Last but not least, the most important part of the video, and it's about the manga. Okay, what really makes Suehiro, the mangaka, one of my favorite, is his art. I just love his historical art style. I don't know if it's just me, but just take a look at some of his works, and I'm sure you will appreciate it. I mean, aside that he's an Erguru artist, just focus on his art. Other than the art, I'm not going to go more in depth, cause I want to jump right into the endings. I want to discuss the question that every reader had after finishing the manga. So the ones I didn't read, just read it and come back later, or just end the video here. To remind you what happened, the manga ended with Masamitsu getting stabbed, Midori kept waiting, and the strange guy kept sneezing. And then Midori just sees the World Circus members laughing at her, of course with Masamitsu. I get it that many got upset or angry with this ending, since it didn't really explain anything, but in my opinion, that's what makes it a good ending. How strange it is, and how many questions it left us until now. Well, the common explanation I see is her going crazy after his death and starts hallucinating. Maybe she thinks he abandoned her and felt alone again. Well, it makes some sense, but I really don't agree, and you may feel the same later. Second ending may be that the dwarf is already a part of the circus, or maybe it's his circus and the whole adventure of Midori was the freak show we the readers got. Well, this does make a lot more sense than the first one, since we know how powerful the dwarf is with his illusion. And if someone thinks that I may be wrong about the dwarf mastering illusion magic, that's really impossible, because we saw what happened to the mummy guy and what he did to his fans. I mean, these two scenes make it obvious enough that it's just an illusion. In these two scenes, no one got damaged by the thing they saw, and the mummy guy died because of sand in his mouth. So him making everything Midori lived an illusion is maybe possible? Something as he mentioned is the sneezing part in the end. Everyone wants to know its explanation. I think most of us know sneezing in anime is when someone is talking about you, right? So here it's maybe showing us that someone is mentioning Midori. That's maybe a hint that the dwarf is talking about her with the remaining group of the circus who are waiting for her. It can be possible. Or maybe he's just saying her name or talking about her while doing his magic, cause the group that we saw with him may be just an illusion as well for Midori. Okay, now I kinda want to eliminate all these possibilities. Maybe you will say, why didn't you mention these endings being wrong from the start? Well, I'm of course not sure about them being wrong, but hear me out, and this will be all my point of view, of course. The dwarf isn't dead. Why would I say that? Okay, do you remember the part where the two guys were hurting Midori, and then she turned big, and everyone stopped and got scared? Just after that, look at this. One guy was going to hit the dwarf, but he reacted so quickly that the attacker just changed his mind in some seconds. Like, he just started ordering that guy to do some cleaning. For me, this just makes it clear that he's really strong enough to stop the stabbing. The whole adventure isn't an illusion. You will for sure say, what makes you think that's not true? Okay, just hear me out. You remember when Masamitsu got angry in his show? Used a lot of his power on the fans. Later we see him in bed, tired and blood coming out of his nose. This all explains that he can't use his power for too long. And for him to do an illusion on Midori, for the start, is just too much, that it may end him up dead. In my opinion, I think everything that happened before her leaving the circus is all true, and one may have different endings is after that. I mean, the mangaka for sure did an open ending on purpose, probably because if he did make an ending, it would be bad. I don't know why some really want a happy ending. Maybe because they felt sorry for Midori, although it's an Eroguru. Okay, why would I say everything after leaving the circus can be different? First thing I want to show is how ruined and weird the place she were at is. This ruined burned building or a sad area is weird and not something you would see in real life. I guess since the manga is supposed to be kinda real, and you can also feel that the sky here is a bit different. Second reason is what she said after the dwarf went to get some lunch. It isn't a dream, she was saying. What do all this mean? What's the new ending I'm going to talk about? I don't really think I have something else to add. Plus, one of the unanswered questions I have is why did the dwarf specifically come to the circus? I mean, its owner was poor since stuff weren't working out well after Midori came. Well, this may sound stupid, but the only answer I have is if you remember, one of the circus guys said she brought Jinx to this place, and in my opinion, she attracted the devil, who is Masamitsu. You know, the dwarf doesn't have tricks, it's actually magic. And you can see he styles his hair as two horns, which is like the devil thing. Well, actually, it can also be a good reason to say that he came there because he was actually the circus owner. I don't know, but it would be stupid to just suffer for several months with Midori for nothing. And why would we see the dwarf getting stabbed if he planned it all along? Well, there's no real ending that we can all agree on, but I'd love to hear what you think about it after everything I said. What's the most possible ending? Do you think we can just say that Midori went crazy because she got alone again? Anyways, if I missed anything, make sure to write in the comments. I will be glad to talk about this manga more. In the end, I want to thank you for watching this video, and I really want to thank you for all the support you show me. I got more than 8-9 subs after my last video, and it really became my best video so far. And don't worry, I didn't forget about preparing the second part, but I just want to give it its right time, and I hope my microphone is a lot better now. Thanks again. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe maybe, and see you in another video. Bye.
Goth Boy Clips.
Hold on, baby, could you wait?